Hey, what's up, Destiny?
Hey, what's up, Simon?
Hey, let's talk about your rhetoric, right? Like, it's pretty hot,
Yes, honey.
pretty flaming,
Okay.
right?
I'm ready for my rhetoric.
I'm just
flattening.
saying this. Whatever happened to, like, I don't know, when they go low, we go high? Whatever happened to that? All of a sudden, we're mocking people after they get shot? Like, that doesn't seem great at all.
Well, I think
Doesn't
what
seem like
started happening
virtuous.
was the DOJ started openly exploiting or extorting politicians like Eric Adams. I think that the DOJ started to like openly hunt for and now file criminal charges against political enemies. I think that every single cabinet member like has been involved in fabricating some story to the American public that's like clearly and obviously not true. So like Tulsi Gabbard's weird fabrication of the Obama stuff from 2016, 2017. Kash Patel and everybody else involved in like firing people that like are giving political answers to interview questions. Like I think that the situation has gotten like so dire that I think that it calls for a little bit more like strict conversation in regards to like this is not acceptable. Like we need to kind of bring things back to the reasonable land.
Okay, so I'm going to do something. I'm going to concede. I think everything you just said is completely
All
correct.
right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Hey,
Simon.
whoa, hold up.
Okay, go ahead.
Not so quick there. I've seen your debate strategies. No. I'm going to concede. Everything you said, totally correct. But in my mind, that isn't an effective strategy for winning, which I think we both care about. We both care about winning office and keeping Democrats in office, right? It sucks not being in power. I think in order to win power, we are going to need to take a higher road. I think that the Democratic base itself doesn't like super edgy or super online content. Don't get me wrong, I do. I'm great, but I'm a degenerate like you guys. Like, I love that shit, but I don't think if we're trying to reach across the aisle or even get moderates, they're going to be okay with like humor around Trump getting assassinated or like the Charlie Kirk stuff. And granted, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not going to like sit here and read your receipts or whatever. Like that's not who I am. But in my mind, in order to overcome this evil, we need to show some sort of virtue. And I don't think the Democratic Party can appeal to people's degeneracy like the Republicans. And I'm sorry for my Republican friends out there, but like I think that like I wouldn't necessarily evilness, but like I do think that the Republican mind is animated by fear in a way that
So-
Democrats maybe aren't.
I actually disagree with this. I think that we all have like pretty similar like basic or like theoretical drives that are I think actually largely identical. We just when it comes to like plugging in the particulars, I think that we differ there. And then we think that we're a lot different, but in actuality, I don't think we are that different. We can drill down into specific examples of that if we need to, but all this to say that like one thing that is underlying all of our interactions in public, in politics, you know, and everything in a democracy is we have this like common sense of, and when I say common, I mean common among the people, of like civil decency. And that if that civil decency is gone, then you have to recognize at some point that there's like a different game being played and that you have to find a way to bring the game back to reality, or you have to start like acknowledging how unhinged the situation is getting.
And so, okay, I hear what you're saying. You're saying, okay, right now it feels like we're in an MMA fight. I don't know if anyone else does MMA, but I do a lot of combat sports.
Okay.
It's an MMA fight. The Republicans are bringing a knife to this battle, and
Sure.
we're showing up wearing nothing but like little shorts.
Sure.
Right? And you're saying, okay, Democrats need to have a knife, maybe even a sword, to be able to
Sure.
play this game.
Yeah.
I don't see how if both the Democrats and the Republicans are bringing weapons to this fight, it's going to be a fair fight. And I acknowledge it's currently not a fair fight. But I don't see how we're lowering the temperature by increasing it again, right? Like if I've got a flu, I'm not trying to like, I don't know anything about like medical stuff, but like I'm not trying to like bury myself in like heated blankets to try to like make the flu go away, right? Like I'm trying to get
but I mean
cold.
like there are two different ways that you can lower the temperature, right? What are the two different ways?
One would be appealing to better angels, in my mind.
But both sides have to do it.
Yeah, but shouldn't that start with us? Like,
Sure.
shouldn't we be the people who start that?
Yeah. What's that word you're using though? Start implies
Yeah,
they follow
both
through.
sides are both
so
doing
either
it, yeah.
both sides agree to bring the temperature down, or one side is eliminated.
But that's what I'm saying is like it feels like we're moving much closer to the eliminating category.
I think we do if we concede everything and we let them carry on with their agenda.
But what I'm trying to say is like I don't know if our super edgy online nature is necessarily good for the Democratic Party to begin with. Like I don't know if that same thing appeals to like my dad or like my mom in that same way that like they would have gone blue but went red for like random other issues as well, or because of like rhetoric.
I think that everybody has the edgy stuff that they like can appreciate and laugh at. I don't think that some people like edginess and some people don't like edginess. Like, I'm sure there were a lot of people, you know, like your typical woke, we're in fucking Portland, okay? The LGBT people that don't like it when you say the R slur or whatever else. And I'm sure a lot of these motherfuckers probably in this audience were retweeting a bunch of like Luigi Mangione memes. They're like, oh, fucking epic when he killed this dude, right? So like, I feel like everybody has like their epic stuff and their edgy stuff that they enjoy making fun of. We just like, really, when I feel like when somebody's being edgy, I think that it's more usually, unless you're awesome and fair like me, who can be edgy about all things, I think oftentimes when people are edgy, what they're really showing you is what they like and what they don't like. You know, there's a ton of memes related to the Charlie Kirk stuff recently, but you can do it to anything where people are like, oh, it's funny when you joke about this and this and this and this and this, but don't you dare make fun of this thing, you know?
Yeah, and let me just say, I want to totally concede, like, when Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked, Don Jr. said some unfucking insane shit. Like, I'm not saying that, like, both sides are equal here. We didn't see, like, Nancy Pelosi say anything crass when, like...
Sure, but, like, when he says that unhinged shit, like, what is the effect on both sides? Like, what is the effect on the left when he says unhinged stuff?
You're saying Don Jr. is messaging to his audience, hey, this is what we're all thinking, versus Democrats I would say Democrats aren't usually thinking that when Charlie Kirk gets shot. I don't think there's too many Democrats that are sitting here being like, this was a good thing, ha ha ha.
I mean, there might be. I mean, I can't speak to every, especially all the edgy younger people, right?
Sure.
But like the messaging from the leaders is different. But what I'm trying to say is that like when they say that, and this sounds bad, but like we have to acknowledge it, like there is a great power in attacking and dehumanizing the other side. Much the same that there would be a great power in bringing weapons to an MMA fight. Like you would win more. You know?
I know, but like, listen to the words we're using here. We're talking about dehumanizing other Americans, and I get that these other Americans have
and that's
done,
what that's what MAGA's been doing.
Hey,
know,
Simon, just hold the mic a little higher. It's
Hey,
just
my
causing
bad. My bad.
No, sorry. With
Lower?
your bottom hand, just away from the bottom of the mic. Yeah, hold it near the top of the mic.
Okay, top of the mic.
Perfect. Just
Okay.
like that.
Hey,
And
my
we
bad.
just gotta. We can't touch on our bodies the bottom part.
Okay.
You too, Mr. Steven.
Jeez.
Thanks.
I would never.
Can you believe him? He's yelling at us now. Oh
It's
my
crazy,
gosh.
man.
He's trying
No
to
high road
dehumanize
for that
us.
dude. And he's fucking Canadian, so.
Oh my God! What? An American?
All right, I'm next, motherfucker.
Oh my gosh! I didn't realize we had an Ameribu here. Okay.
But like, you use the MMA example,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So let's say that we had perfect information on both sides. Okay,
Sure.
Let's start that assumption. Okay,
Yeah.
and let's say that we're gonna have a big MMA match. Okay, 10 people on one roster, 10 people on the other with the team format. I don't know.
Okay.
But like, we know that the other side will know if they bring weapons or not.
Sure.
Right? Let's say that we have a rule that says if they bring weapons, we're not going to bring weapons. If the other side really wants to win, what do you think they're going to do?
They're going to bring weapons.
For sure. But what if we have the rule that says if they bring weapons, we're bringing at least the same amount of redistricting in California. We're bringing at least the same amount of weapons to the other side. Don't you think that maybe in that world, even though it seems like we're being more violent,
Sure.
aren't we kind of like bringing the temperature down because it's like, okay, well, fuck, maybe we shouldn't do this because it's going to like bite us in the ass.
Again, I hear what you're saying with like the redistricting. I just think that there's a category difference between redistricting and then talking about like maybe dead kids that have died in a flood, or like Charlie Kirk's assassination, or like the attempted assassination of a presidential candidate. Like I think there's a difference between these things. Like I'm all for redistricting. Yeah, fuck yeah. Why the fuck should like Republicans in California get a vote? Fuck them. If like Democrats in Texas.
Yeah, but I
can't.
think that like making fun of dead kids in Texas, I think that when you have a whole bunch of people, and we see it a lot with Gavin Newsom's Twitter account, for instance, like there's on a baser, sick level, there's a pleasure that I get watching Republicans snowflake out when I'm making jokes that they don't like.
Okay, that is true.
And I know that like I point to the Asmongold example of him being like, well, I can't make fun of this because Dustin's saying. But like, I feel like the goal should be if there's enough outrage in response to jokes like that and you feel bad about it, good, you should. They're crass jokes, they're tasteless, they're impacting a small group of people. But maybe the next time something happens on the other side, maybe that feeling comes back and you're like, fuck, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe this is like a huge piece of shit thing to actually do, because Republicans have been undeterred in their dehumanization of other people for decades now. So much so that like the simple fact that Vance can go on stage. We had the moment even with Kamala and Trump. Yeah. They're eating the cats and the dogs, and like it's funny, but like it's also like crazy.
Yeah, no, I hear.
And Vance admits that it's like not even real.
So then, but is turnabout fair play here? Like, let's say next presidential candidate comes up and Gavin Newsom, God hope. Let's say Gavin Newsom comes up and he's like, Republicans, they're killing your pets. They're coming after he's making up conspiracy theories at the same level. We wouldn't
Yeah, I don't
like
think
that,
when it
right?
comes to like actually lying, I think that's like a morally not good thing to do.
Okay,
right?
sure.
But
So,
like
but
in
let's
terms
say
of like
he's
extreme rhetoric,
mocking them.
I don't necessarily know. Maybe should Gavin Newsom, should the presidential candidate be doing it? You know, maybe
Okay.
not.
And
But what
there's
I'm
a
saying is that
distinction
like what
between
I'm saying is that
candidate,
like
yeah.
we're having all these conversations like what should the limits be for our side? The other side doesn't have that at
No,
all.
obviously-
right?
obviously
if you
not.
have watched like Matt Walsh's Twitter account over the
No,
past
no,
like
it's
month,
insane. It's absolutely insane.
crazy.
Or my just basic Republican friends, like yeah,
Or Trump's, yeah.
yeah, the
Trump's
fucking
it,
president,
yeah.
yeah, good point. No,
But
I
like
hear
it's
that.
like
I hear
so
all
like
that.
it feels kind of weird
Yeah.
to be like it feels like for the MMA thing like we're having like a really heated debate over whether we should bring
Totally.
like brass knuckles or not, and the other side's like upgraded to like AK.
No, yeah, they're moving on to
and
some other shit.
AR-15s, or,
I'm
like,
just saying that like
yeah.
there seems to be a higher ground we are losing clearly by engaging in like rhetoric that is dehumanizing, and I
Maybe,
think
but
that's
I mean, like, I feel like
it's a
the
tragedy.
highest ground ever were like the fucking Obamas. These people were like picture perfect.
Well, yeah, and I
And
would
we got
say
Trump right after.
and that's the point. Is like I think that we need to return to an Obama.
But we
like,
lost after Obama.
Yeah, we also okay. I hear what you're saying. Maybe my argument is too feelings based. Maybe it's too like I'm reading too
Well, it's
much
not
Marcus
just feelings
Aurelius.
based.
I don't
It's
know.
like,
yeah.
like I understand the feeling, but I think the issue is you're just not used to dealing. This sounds really bad. You're not used to dealing with something so malevolent on the other side, right? Like it's an incomputable thing that the other side could actually be so barbaric and
Callous.
dehumanizing. But like I'll say, I don't think that like an average MAGA person's like rotten to the core. I think it's like the whole
Sure.
Republican infrastructure, media apparatus.
So-
Because when you talk to these people, they genuinely do believe the things that they're saying.
No,
and I
I
mean,
hear
if
you.
you believed all the same things they believe, you'd probably be like, well, fuck, maybe they are trying to chop my kid's dick off. I don't know. Like, like it could be that these people. Well, no, I think a lot of these people genuinely do believe these things.
Yeah.
But like that, there has to be some way to like hold the current conservative rhetoric accountable. And I think when that accountability exists, I think people stop doing it. And right now, there's just none of that.
Yeah. Okay. I hear what you're saying, Shalino. I appreciate you in this sphere. Maybe I'm disagreeing, but I think most of my disagreement is less factual based, more emotional based. Can I ask another question, or am I going to get kicked out? Okay, great. Okay, we kind of mentioned our last conservative friend that came up and talked mentioned. I don't know, kind of like a less masculinized presence, or like he was talking about it in ways that I maybe would disagree with, but I do think that like masculinity is a key factor. I think young men right now in America are suffering. I'm curious to know what you would say, advice to young men, maybe somebody in high school. How do they live a fulfilling life? And it doesn't have to be like just highly masculine, but like I'm curious to know, do you think young men are suffering right now?
It's a 666 rule. Okay, what do you? I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing. That's a big question. I don't.
Hey, my bad.
I think that on the, I mean, like one broad criticism I've had for a long time on the left is we have a really hard time talking to majority classes.
Sure.
So like talking to white people is really hard for the left.
Yep.
Talking to men is really hard for the left.
Yeah.
That's why I like the, as kind of corny as it was, like I think the white guys or white dudes for Harris, as goofy as that was, like I thought it was like,
I was there
yeah,
for
I mean,
that.
it's like, okay, well, at least they're like
Absolutely.
not afraid to talk about it. I think that Gavin Newsom, like being willing to say we've put together some like commission or council to talk about
That was
men's
huge.
issues. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's nice.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this again, like I think that we have a few really big, corrosive, like core problems in the United States. And I think that we talk about a lot of other things, but I think a lot of these other things are like byproducts of some of the core problems.
Sure.
So when we talk about like masculinity, when you talk about like toxic masculinity, right? This is a concept that is as old as time and everybody understands it, right?
Sure.
So even though like it's been, feminists have taken it and now conservatives hate hearing it or whatever, like every single male coming of age movie story, all of them revolve
Yep.
around some guy.
Yep.
Every sports movie is like he's a hothead, he never passes the ball, he says fuck you to the coach, he runs off and he does his own thing, and then he like watches, some coach dance around with his disabled daughter on the ice rink,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, okay, well I'm gonna pass
Yep.
the puck more,
Yep.
okay? All right, Mighty Ducks is a great series, fuck all you guys, right? But like this is like the overcoming of like the hot-headed young male. And if you're an older guy, hopefully you've had this like personal journey in your
Yeah.
life, where
Yeah,
it's like,
totally.
100%.
I sure have, yeah.
Yeah. The issue is that like I think that the thing I said before is that like the reason why it's good to have two strong parties is because like when there's a tension between two different forces, it forces both sides to be a little bit commensurate with the other, like to be able to communicate with the other side. And then in that communication and in the back and forth, you arrive at something hopefully a little bit more sane. So right now, I think that because the left kind of became I don't want to say totally captured, but like there were issues relating to, you know, representation of women in colleges or minority rights or whatever. Like it swings a little bit too far in that direction, and we get cringe shit like BIPOC or whatever the fuck else, I don't know, super progressive people talk about. But then on the right, it's like, you know, my male role model is fucking Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, the fuck
That's
we doing here?
crazy.
Yeah, or like the Liver King or some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like, there's no counterbalance there. That's just like absolutely
that's
absurd.
another piece of it too. Is like one of the reasons why I think young men right now are gravitating more towards Hassan is because, and I'm sorry, said that out loud. Ugh, gross, lame. But like honestly, he's a big dude that weightlifts, that like talks some shit. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's something that
I kind of understand what you're saying. I
my
don't think
monkey
that,
brain likes that. You know, that's why I like Joe Rogan.
Sure,
Big dude,
Joe Rogan for
talks
sure.
shit,
I don't know
smokes weed, cool as fuck.
I don't know if Hassan is attracting like the people looking for like
Nah, maybe
masculinity
not.
examples.
Yeah, maybe
or whatever.
not. Maybe not. Maybe that's just I'm
Sure.
just like looking at him like, oh, those biceps.
I understand what you're saying. Like, I do think that I think like Gavin Newsom is like a good example
Sure.
of somebody who's
Sure.
like giving a healthy example of masculinity. But yeah, so much of that ground was ceded to the right, and I think we have to like make up ground on that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, sick. I think we both agree. We need more hyper masculine dudes. Kicking ass.
True. Okay.
Yeah, having friends with, sick.
True. Actually, unironically, some of those examples are.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I was joking,
Yeah.
but like I'm also 100% serious. We need some like roided out motherfuckers.
I don't know about roided out.
Oh,
but
we need a little bit of roids. Come on, a little bit of roids.
maybe a little bit
At
of
least
roids.
30
Okay.
pull-ups, right?
I guess.
Okay.
Sure.
Sweet. Okay. That's
All right,
I got.
Simon, you had a great run. Everyone put it together for Simon.